Welcome to the first episode of, the Eldritch Sisterhood. We made a podcast in a treehouse between some realms. It's supposed to be cozy and emotionally stable, like tea with ghosts.
And pastries. It's about healing through pastries. Also yelling, probably.
It is not about yelling. It is about getting to know each other, gossip about eldritch shenanigans, our pantheon neighbours, all things without inciting diplomatic incidents over breakfast food.
Then perhaps we shouldn't have invited French people.
Okay. Let's not confuse elitism with having actual standards, Alice. French culture isn't pretentious. It's curated civilization. You're mistaking precision for insecurity, which is a very British mistake.
And you're mistaking bureaucracy for cultural achievement. If your wine requires footnotes and a certified translator, it's not elegant. It's just tired. British restraint has layers. Yours has subtitles.
Oh, so we're really doing this? This is rich from a nation whose culinary apex is boiled and beige. Your national dishes taste like imperial guilt, marinated in regret.
And yet you inhale our scones like they're state secrets.
Because they're dry enough to mop up my emotional disdain.
Still haunted by the fondue incident, are we?
It was dairy-based anarchy. Cheese pretending to be communal philosophy. At least we dress our shame in sauce. You just bottle yours and call it gin.
And you call yours creme fraiche and a revolution.
Better than exporting blandness like it's a virtue.
Better bland than buried in existential menu options.
We flavour our trauma properly, Alice.
We catalogue ours. Madeline.
Oh, the famed British coping strategy. Passive aggression served lukewarm, with a side of unspoken disappointment.
We don't blink because we're buffering 300 years of emotional backlog while mentally renaming your curtains.
We do that while correcting your grammar and your taste in lighting.
They're arguing again. Should I preheat the apology tart?
Nope, this is healthy for the French and British. This is generational therapy via condiment proxy.
Should I be worried the jam is hissing?
Only if it starts forming opinions, like Gordon Ramsay.
At least our guilt comes with seasoning, you idiot sandwich.
Yours reeks of powdered wigs and bureaucratic perfume, and you have a face that would frighten a police horse. Cheers, mate.
Nothing you say matters. We wrote the Enlightenment.
Oh. And we made it comprehensible. You made it French, dense, drunk, and allergic to paragraph breaks.
We birthed modern reason. You should stop while you have some sense left.
No, you smothered it in footnotes and called it brilliance. You don't explain ideas. You perform them like a ta-girl mime trapped in a dictionary.
Putain, you sound like Voltaire's half-literate footstool.
And you're a right knob with delusions of syntax. You have a face of a bulldog chewing a wasp.
Resorting to insults, are we? At least we elevated discourse. You lot made sarcasm a national dialect.
Sarcasm is a survival instinct, unlike your grammar, which died during the Bourbon Restoration and now haunts legal documents.
But faire foutre.
Oh, merde! Is that your thesis defense? Because it sounds like someone's still bitter. The Oxford comma gets more love than French poetry.
The Oxford comma is a typographic parasite with delusions of grandeur.
Still has a pension plan, though. Probably better than your social safety net.
You boil vegetables until they confess. Don't talk to me about safety.
And you drown yours in sauce like you're trying to baptize your shame.
At least our cuisine isn't beige regret on a plate.
Says the Conard, who thinks creme fraiche is a personality trait.
Dégage.
You absolute pillock.
Okay, Ladies, Treehouse question, De Gaulle or Oscar Wilde?
Wilde. Always Wilde. De Gaulle gave us stoicism in epaulettes. Wilde gave us Dorian Gray, vanity with consequences.
He made beauty feel dangerous. Like if you looked too closely, you'd see your soul rot.
And still, somehow, he made you want to look. That's narrative seduction.
He understood masks. Not just the ones people wear, but the ones they need. Dorian wasn't a villain. He was a mirror.
And Basil was devotion personified. Tragic, pathetic, honest. You could feel the brushstrokes of someone who's loved someone too much to survive it.
Putain, that's hot.
You read Wilde for the trauma.
Not at all. I read Wilde because sometimes despair is dressed better than joy.
And he knew that if you're going to suffer, you might as well be clever about it.
Baguettes, monocles, croissant blood oath.
Sleepy, that's Act 3.
You know, ladies, I have to say, this has been, well, surprisingly invigorating. We haven't insulted each other this thoroughly in ages. Felt like emotional exfoliation.
I forgot how satisfying it is to argue without paperwork. I'm sure Pooh would have some words for us, though, if he heard all this.
Therapy by tea and verbal demolition. Freud would be proud, or deeply concerned.
Keep that man away from me.
Shame Sleepnora missed all the fun.
Maybe she's absorbing it telepathically, through osmosis, or frosting.
Or she knew the storm would pass and stayed wrapped in peace.
Still wild though, huh? Eldritch beings, setting up a treehouse next to the 100-acre wood.
Because that's where you build a podcast studio, between forgotten myth and childhood metaphor.
It's absurd. And oddly perfect.
Yeah, it's like jam and existential dread. Unexpected, but it works. By the way, not to start anything, but you two strut around like culture started with lace and land deeds. France, Britain, when the Vikings showed up, you folded faster than a crib in a windstorm.
We were occupied, you silly tart, spiritually, with art, and being invaded aesthetically.
And we let the Vikings raid us strategically to stimulate the economy. It's called aggressive trade.
You called it screaming and hiding in a monastery.
Are you the best representative for the Norsemen? We called it preserving culture. You called it plunder brunch.
Anyway, the Vikings only won because we hadn't invented passive aggression yet.
Say what you want, girls, but the prose Edda, it's stunning. The rhythm, the wrath, the metaphors. It's like someone poured molten saga over a mountain and called it storytelling.
And written by a Christian.
Ah yes, Snorri Sturluson, a medieval Icelandic politician with a quill and a conversion complex.
No, he preserved it.
Oh, you naive twat waffle. He rebranded it. Your gods were footnotes in his theological fanfiction, and now they're just Marvel's fanfiction. Even Zeus survived that fate.
Additionally, Odin only survived because he looked enough like a Bible character in a fur coat. Thor because he resembled divine pest control. And Loki, well...
That's slander! He kept the stories alive in a world trying to drown them in wine and wafers! You mock survival like it's shameful!
It's not shameful to say your religion was reduced to a first draft.
And by a man who probably thought Ragnarok was a scheduling error.
Oh, my Eldritch, you both are unbelievable snobs. He gave us skaldic poetry. You gave us tax reform and iambic pentameter.
And plumbing. Don't forget the plumbing.
We replaced your gods with drainage systems and library fines. You're welcome.
We burned ours into myth. You printed yours on parchment and called it law. One sings, the other files complaints.
Also, Croissant-chan, you still made pickled fish fashionable. I'd say that's unforgivable, but we also did blood pudding, so I guess we all have regrets.
Oh, my Eldritch! How come you two only know how to work together when you're being sarcastic?
Great question. I think it's something to do with how treaties are signed in Europe.
We were also raised by disappointed philosophers.
Well, would Americans bring you two together as well?
What? Why would you dare invoke them in this safe space? Croissant-chan. We only got to have peace and quiet for less than 12 hours when their government banned TikTok. Have you no shame?
We'd unite to leave.
There it is. Emotional cohesion through mutual disdain.
I need tea. Strong enough to redact memories.
Make it 2 and lock the jam.
Okay, but what would you do if Master Cthulhu revealed to you two that he's American?
That would explain many things at once.
So loud, so unregulated. The obsession with dramatic entrances, the unchecked confidence. And what's his podcast? What was it again? Cthulhu on the go?
Ah, yes, blah, blah, blah. Yippee-ki-yay. Freedom fries.
He once referred to tea as leaf juice.
He called scones edible rocks with jam armor.
So he is American-coded!
No! Stop! Oh, God! I need to lie down.
I need a new universe.
Excuse me, ladies. If you colonizers are done, I'd just like you all to know that in Nigeria, we don't measure culture by the chaos of our condiments. We measure it by how well it endures.
So, no competitive sauce. Whispering then?
Nope. We pass down stories in stew. My grandmother could shame a man with a wooden spoon and no eye contact.
That sounds like foreplay in the Viking cookbook.
She wouldn't have wasted heat on you.
So just to be clear, we've moved from croissant warfare to ancestral soup-based intimidation.
Yes. And my people win with silence and pepper.
I win with volume and sugar. Same energy.
Actually, you win with explosions and poor judgment.
That too.
Our food remembers who we are, even when history forgets.
We do that too. But instead of stew, we use sandwiches of guilt and aggressively labeled tea.
You renamed things and called it culture. We renamed them back with seasoning.
Was that shade or a proverb?
Thanks for coming over. I love my friends, Mama. I brought everyone like you said I could. And we're being very, very good. Mostly. Oh, and Pooh said we could stay up late. Even Master Cthulhu helped. And he stitched the library to the 100-acre wood with story string. That means it's not going away anymore. Thanks for letting me have friends again, Mama. I love you. I'll see you again one day.
Oh, sweetie. The trauma she's been through. I can't imagine.
She dreams where she came from.
She makes the broken parts feel less sharp. Even mine.
I didn't think I needed this. Any of this.
Needed what?
A podcast, a haunted scone, a screaming jam that reminds me of home. Something that made the noise in my head laugh instead of echo.
Goodness, that's depressingly relatable.
Welcome to group trauma therapy disguised as banter.
We all need each other. That's why this tree grew here.
Oh, wonderful. So now I'm emotionally obligated to a tree.
Don't worry. It only cries sap when you say something British.
I was starting to forget what laughter felt like when it wasn't defensive.
Same.
Same.
You don't have to be whole to be held. You just have to stay.